Kelly, the movie that's on mine and Christy's mind, right off the bat, we want to start off with Surf Ninjas. Let's talk about Ernie Reyes Jr.
I heard that has become such a stoner flick. Is
it's
that
such
true?
a cult
You don't
following
even
now.
know.
It is.
Right?
Yes.
You guys look like you might
Classic.
know.
The younger
I might
kids,
know.
they're all about it still, too. It's a cult.
Right?
It's
a
getting
cult
a
classic.
huge
I love
following
that.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
I shot that in Thailand.
Uh-huh.
It was about a 6-week shoot. I was there for 8 weeks. I ate my face off in Thailand. It was ridiculous. The food was so good and it was so cheap and I had so much downtime and I ate and ate and ate and ate so much. I gained so much weight during the shoot that the director actually came up to me about halfway in the shoot and told me he was worried about the continuity of the film.
Wow.
I gained like 10 pounds.
And it was only 8 weeks.
And it was only 8 weeks.
Oh,
I ate my face off.
You were killing it.
Yeah, I
Killing
was. It was awesome.
That's understandable. That Thai food is
And everybody else
addictive.
got sick. Everybody else like drank the water or something and got sick and like lost 10 or 15 pounds. I gained 10 pounds.
You took
Yeah.
it from
I'm
me.
not even exaggerating. Seriously, I came back chubby.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't care.
3 ninjas.
Yeah.
Or 3 surf
Surf
ninjas.
ninjas.
Surf
Surf
ninjas.
ninjas.
There's also
Right.
3 ninjas. Lots
No,
of
no,
That was a
good
different
films.
movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that also Ernie?
No, I don't think Ernie was in that
I just
one.
assume anything
No.
with ninjas in it is Ernie.
I know.
He was in Ninja Turtles.
The 90s was like a good time
Right?
for ninjas.
I'm in
That's
Ninja
right.
Turtles.
You're in Ninja Turtles.
I'm the
now,
correct
right.
Ninja Turtles. Right. I'm
Yes.
Karai. Yeah, I
That
voiced
is an
Karai.
enjoyable character. I watch it
Isn't
with
it
my
so
son,
fun?
and I'm like, this is a really enjoyable show.
Right?
And
Now
I-
that she's like the mutant snake, so much fun. I love it.
It already sounds like you have so much fun playing that bad girl. Like you could tell through the animation too. Like
I have a fun life, period.
we know.
Like, look at what I get to do for a living. Come on. I get to come to Comic-Cons and I get to like voice all these fun characters. I get to do stupid movies like Surf Ninjas.
Amazing.
Right? Who has a better life than me? Don't be jealous.
not it. So yeah. One of the things I want to say, my first time being introduced to you was actually Nash Bridges.
Oh, okay.
You broke my heart. It broke my heart that
When I died?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like,
Spoiler
what?
alert.
Oh, I
No.
know. I know. Well, what happened was I was on Nash Bridges as a regular, and then during the hiatus, they had me do a little guest starring role on Martial Law for the
Right,
pilot.
Sammo Hung,
It was
right.
called Super Cop at the time.
Okay.
And my character in that pilot tested so well. And it was the same producers, Carlton Cuse, who did Lost, that stupid little series. Anyway, but it was Carlton Cuse and CBS. So my character tested so well on Martial Law that they just moved my shitty contract from Nash Bridges into Martial Law. And so
Okay.
that's how I ended up on the show.
And so that's why you had to get the.
Yeah. But it ended up being a super fun show. I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
Nash Bridges lasted longer, but you know,
No,
we had
Martial
two
Law
good
was fun
seasons.
too, yeah.
Yeah, we had 2 good seasons, and it was a lot of fun. And who knows why it got canceled? Who knows why any of these shows get canceled? Yeah, we had a great time.
All right, cool. You wanted to say something, I thought,
I'm
right?
swearing a lot. Are there kids in here?
We've thrown that out
no?
the window
okay, good.
a while.
Oh, you're
I
a kid.
think,
That's okay. You look bigger.
you know where you
Okay.
are. You
I
know
know.
what you walked into.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, she's okay.
Sorry. Okay,
Uh-huh.
perfect.
There we
Perfect.
go.
They've heard it.
I'm
they
not
can't
the only bad
unhear it.
influence. Okay, anybody else? Are we asking questions?
Yeah, we're going to open it up to the floor there. If you guys actually have a question for Kelly, go ahead and start lining up behind this mic. Nick will kind of direct
Hi,
you.
Paul.
Yep. Come up right over here by the mic, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Tigger today.
Right,
Sorry,
of course.
Tigger.
All right. Oh, yeah, good you're here in Miami for a convention for the first time. Hope it won't be the last. Maybe
Hopefully,
in
yeah.
the future. Yeah, about 30 years ago, you won the Miss Teen USA pageant held
Thanks
here.
for mentioning how long ago it was, Paul.
Yeah. You could have just said Team USA.
Although, I don't know if you won. Maybe
I did win. I did win.
Maybe the host pulled a Steve Harvey on you.
No, actually, I won that year.
Well,
yeah,
maybe-
it was official.
It
I saw the card.
It happened in Florida. Maybe there ought to be a recount of the judges' vote.
There is no recount.
There's no recount 30 years later. I'm not giving back the prizes. No. Okay, what's your question, Paul?
All right. Speaking of pageantry, the fans at these conventions, how many characters that you've performed on camera And in voice work, have you seen dress up as your characters? I think it could very well be possible you hold a record among actors. Just go over the list. Like,
There are quite a few. You know why? Because I do a lot of these characters, besides Lady Deathstrike and, the obvious stuff. I also do a lot of video games, so stuff that I might not even recognize. Sometimes
Right.
people will be dressed up as, like Shiva, Lady Shiva or
Right.
something. I do all these characters named Lady. What's up with that?
You're a classy broad.
I'm a classy broad. But yeah, I mean, you know what happens is a lot of times I do these voiceover characters and I forget who they are or
Right.
that I've even done them, and then people will come up and dressed up as the character or ask me to sign like DVDs and stuff, and I'm like, I don't think I'm in that. And they'll say, no, you are. And I'm like, really? And then they'll like look it up on IMDb,
yeah.
and like prove it to me. But what happens is I voice these characters so far in advance
Right.
of when the video games come out. And then because I'm not really familiar with who they are, I forget that I've done them. And they do them under like different pseudonyms, the video games. So if it's like the Batman series, they'll say it's called like Ozzy or something. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing a voice on a show called Ozzy. And I have no idea.
Right.
But so yeah, to tell you the truth, Paul, I would not know about how many people come dressed up as me.
Have they even gone as far as to dress up as Stacey Hirano from Phineas and Ferb at these?
I've never seen a Stacy.
Well, there's.
I think I might recognize that.
No, so but.
That would just be an Asian girl with skinny legs
Well, a blouse with the green and the bow.
and a funky shaped head.
Well, you don't realize
Right.
at the time what Visas Mar, Star Wars.
Yes, Visas Mar,
that's,
right.
Lady Deathstrike, Scorpion King, Sorcerer.
Scorpion
yeah,
King. I've never seen a Scorpion King dress up. No.
I've seen him on Instagram.
I've seen him on Instagram. I saw a tattoo. A guy had a tattoo of my Scorpion King character on his leg. Yeah, how awesome was that? I was visiting the troops in Afghanistan.
Okay.
And this guy was following me around, and I thought he was just kind of stalking me.
Right.
And it was a little
It's a
scary.
big desert. Who knows?
I know. And he kept looking at me and looking at me and looking at me, and then finally he built up the courage to come
Right.
up, and he said he wasn't sure if it was me or not. And then he's like, I have a tattoo. No, first of all, he goes, don't be scared. I'm not a stalker or anything.
That's the
Like
first
not,
sign.
yeah, that's like
Sign number one.
not what you want to open up with.
And so he's like, I have a tattoo of you on my leg. And I was like, this could be either really cool or really scary.
Right.
But he ended up being really cool.
Yeah.
And so, so he showed it to me, and I've got it like on one of my websites. Yeah.
Cool.
Is it like portrait style, realistic, like you?
Yeah. It's me from like the poster. How scary is that?
Wow.
Scary in a cool way.
Yeah.
If anybody else decides to get a tattoo of me.
And that's there. You know,
Right?
you think about that. His
Yeah.
grandkids are going to see it and everything like that.
I
like
know.
Yeah.
I
You
know.
are permanently part of his life.
I
his
love
family's
it.
life. It's
I
pretty
love
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
tattoos last a while as well, so.
Are we done, Paul?
No, we've got.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got more questions behind us. There,
We got
there we
somebody
are.
else. Hi.
I have two questions.
Okay.
One with Lady Deathstrike in the X-Men. When you were cracking your fingers, was that actually you, or was that like just a voice they?
Yeah, I do crack my knuckles, which is a terrible habit, but that was not me cracking my knuckles. That was some like voice sound editor putting that in.
The second question is, will Karai appear in season 4?
Will Karai appear in season 4? I think maybe. I don't see why not. I'm still alive, right?
Last time I checked.
Yeah, okay. As long as I'm not dead.
Right.
But you know, it's a cartoon. You can come back to life. Yeah. I've come back to life many times. I've actually died a lot.
You
Yeah?
have.
I've died so many times in my career that I've decided that one day I'm going to put together like a reel of all my death scenes and have it played at my funeral.
You have a Sean Bean death reel of yourself.
Right? Wouldn't that be awesome? Like she's come back before.
All the time
No,
she's
right?
died.
That is brilliant.
At my funeral, they'll play
Yeah.
all my death scenes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Our family is a huge we're fanatics.
Oh, that's awesome. You guys watch it all
We
together.
all watch it together, and my son especially, he loves all the villains, and he loves China White.
Oh, cool.
So unfortunately he's not here this weekend. But what I wanted to ask you is, could you share like a funny experience that you had while you were working on the set of Arrow?
There's a scene that I shot with Michael Jai White, who's here, where I was supposed to be in lingerie, and we're supposed to be like in bed together.
Okay.
I did not eat for 9 days. 9 days. I'm not even joking. I literally did not eat for like 9 days. And we shot the scene, and there were all these things that went wrong technically. I mean, I was looking good. I was
Right.
like all. I was like, I couldn't concentrate because I couldn't like think. But anyway, we shot the scene, and they ended up not using it.
No.
Did they at least put it on the reel?
I don't think so.
That's too bad.
I know.
I would have loved to seen it.
I know. It's out there somewhere in the editing floor somewhere. Who knows?
Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much. Have a
Thank
good one.
you.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
And I have a question. What is your favorite role that you have ever played?
My favorite role, it's so hard. People ask me that all the time. And it's like asking, who's your favorite child? I know everybody's got a favorite kid though, right?
I do.
You do? But, I get to play such fun characters. I have the best career. I do. I don't care. Meryl Streep can go like F herself. I have the best career because I get to play all of these really fun, powerful, kick-ass characters, and it's so hard to choose just one because everyone. I mean, I have such a great experience, on set with all of these, and I don't know. It's hard. Okay,
ask a second
ask me
question?
something else.
What do you do to work out to stay in such wonderful shape?
You want to know what my workout is? I actually love doing these things nowadays called like cardio dance classes. I do this class called Plyo Jam, which is like Zumba on steroids. And it, I love dance, and I did dance when I was a kid. I still do a little bit of martial arts, but not as much because my joints are hurting these days. And I do a lot of like circuit training classes and stuff like that. But mostly
you look
just
amazing.
Thank you. Mostly just dancing around the house in my underwear, pretending I'm Madonna.
Well, there you go.
That's all? I'm gonna
Mostly.
start training tomorrow.
So short. Hi.
Hi.
I absolutely adored you in Young Justice.
That Mike wants to talk to your boobies.
Poorly produced.
There we go.
I absolutely adored you in Young Justice. Shusher was my favorite villain.
Thank you. That was so fun.
Oh man, it was just the best. I wanted to ask, do you think they're gonna try to bring it back for season 3?
I know that Greg Weisman, who's the creator, producer of the show, is trying really hard to bring that back. And there's the fans of Young Justice. I mean, you guys really need to get behind it if you really want the show to come back. Firefly. They brought that back, right?
They gave it a movie at least,
as the movie, right? So it's possible. It's possible. These things are possible. So you guys as fans have that power, and if you guys sort of band together and let it be known that you guys will buy the action figures and spend the money on it, because that's the only reason why it went away, because apparently people were not buying the action figures and
I
stuff.
heard it was because they mostly marketed towards males and they didn't really notice their female demographic.
Is that what was
that's what
said?
I heard a lot. They weren't paying attention to the female demographic, which made up most of the fans.
Oh, how interesting. I did not know that. Yeah.
I think that happens quite often as well, unfortunately.
Why would they ignore us women? We're the ones with the pocketbooks.
I'm saying.
Why did they not put Gamora, that's her name, in Guardians of the Galaxy? Why did Rey not in Force Awakens? Why don't they market it towards they're the main characters, but they're
I
in
think
it?
But they
you know
don't get
what though.
action
I think
Exactly.
now there's sort of a new wave of women who are leads of films, who are sort of superheroes and action figures and all that stuff. there's a lot more women who are being, highlighted these days. It used to be because people wouldn't go see these movies. People wouldn't spend the money. But now you've got all of these women who are starring in their films, and people are actually going and buying the tickets. So as women, if you guys want to see more of these kind of characters, go spend the money and see the films, because that's the only thing that counts, are the dollars.
So
Yeah,
do you think
studios
you-
don't care about anything else.
Do you think you would return to Young Justice? Because I don't think Shusher would
If
be
Young
the
Justice
same.
returns, I hope I do. That would be
I don't think
awesome.
Shusher would be the same if it wasn't played by you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're really pretty, by the way.
Thank you. I like that little PS.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Someone brought up a question that made me wonder. I've seen a couple of episodes of Arrow, and I saw the X-Men, and it made me think, you are a sex symbol, and so are the females, and I know for a fact that they don't put as much effort as they do to the men. Do they do to you? So I'm really curious, have they ever told you that you have to be a certain weight or something, or have they photoshopped your body in a photo or something?
They Photoshop me all the time. It's sad because
You're a really pretty woman.
it's hard because it makes young girls have these images that they just can't, possibly
Absolutely, yeah.
live up to. Everything you see that gets put in a magazine is photoshopped. Everything that we put up online ourselves is photoshopped. That's just sort of the reality of what it's like to live in the world today.
Yeah.
What was the other part of the question?
Have you ever got rejected? 'cause
Oh,
you're
yes,
certain
my
age or
weight,
you're-
my weight. Yeah. No, you asked about that. Yes, I was approached once, besides the whole Surf Ninjas thing. But I was approached on another show once, and I probably weighed exactly what I do now, actually, now that I think about it. And I was told that I had to lose some weight because I was supposed to be the eye candy of the show, and they wanted me to be able to live up to that. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure put on actors, actresses these days.
Yeah.
I'm sure actors are never told that they have to lose weight, but yeah, that happens. That happens, and of course, it sent me into a tailspin, and unfortunately, I had. I'm going to share publicly with you guys that I had a bout of bulimia after that. But now that I'm smarter and older, I know that that's just all BS, and that's other people putting their own insecurities onto you. People really need to just get rid of those ideals of all of these skinny girls and just be healthy. Be healthy, be happy, and that's all that matters.
Okay, everybody has cellulite.
Right?
Everybody.
Hello.
Skinny or not, everybody has cellulite.
Right?
That's
It's
just-
all
It's all
Photoshop.
Photoshop and filters and lighting and makeup.
Exactly.
It's a kind of a sad day and age
It is.
to be in as a woman.
It is. But it's also great because we can Photoshop ourselves. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Speaking of, before you ask your question, you were on the cover of Maxim,
Yes.
and from what we know, it was the best-selling issue.
Yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
They
Oh, okay.
actually, interesting story about that. They were afraid of putting an Asian girl on the cover.
What?
Because
I
it was
do
kind of a
remember that.
newish magazine, and they didn't want people to think that it was an Asian magazine. And so they were a little hesitant to
Okay.
put an Asian girl on the cover by herself. They
Because we
were
live
going
in
to
the
actually
1940s for some reason.
yeah, no. Isn't that so weird? And then, of course, they took the chance. They put me on the cover,
Yeah.
and then it ended up being the biggest selling, issue of Maxim
Yeah.
at that time. So, sometimes being a woman of, of color, of, ethnicity, works in weird ways.
Right.
Sometimes it works
Absolutely.
for you, sometimes it works against you, and it's hard to believe that at this day and age we still have so many barriers to have to break down.
I
Yeah,
really, I really
absolutely.
think it shouldn't be, because I think the people want variety, just not so much the studios, and I think that's what it comes down to.
I think so too. I mean, what it comes down to is is dollars.
Right,
And if people
absolutely.
spend the money, then you know, then the studios, the networks, all of that, you know, are more hip to
Right.
being more, you know, open to different ethnicities and casting.
Has any fan ever asked you to sign the cover of the Maxim? Have you ever been approached there?
All the time.
All the time?
I love it. That's my favorite. Actually, I did a cover for, I think it was Maxim, or maybe it was Stuff, where it was a military issue,
Okay.
and it was like 3 different covers. It was me, Carmen Electra, and Kim Smith. And I went to Iraq and Afghanistan after that, and, you know, handed out like the magazines and stuff like that. And one of the best moments of my life as an actor was when this one guy like pops his head out of a tank and he sees me and his eyes go wide and then he like disappears for like 5 minutes and then he comes running out with my picture.
Just shuffling through the tank, like,
he
"Where's my
had
cover?"
it up in his tank.
That's
He
awesome.
like posted on the inside of his tank.
That's
I was
amazing.
so flattered.
That's-
It was about as cool as the tattoo.
That's
Less
amazing.
scary.
Because you know this guy's like rampaging down desert going, this is for Kelly!
Right? Like, what an honor. That was the most amazing moment of my entire career, I have to say. Okay, next.
That's amazing.
Hi, so Vampire Diaries is one of my favorite shows, and
Oh.
how was it working with Nina and Paul and Ian, and working as like acting as Pearl?
I am so surprised that you even asked about Nina. Everybody's like, what's it like to work with Ian Somerhalder? But they are the coolest people ever. I mean, such a great set to work on. Everybody is so nice. And they're all really close. I mean, they all hang out and, you know, like outside of work and stuff like that. I guess maybe also because they're shooting in Atlanta. And, you know, they're just the coolest kids ever. Like, I don't know. If I were to ever be on a series, I would love to work on that show as a regular because the coolness factor is just like through the roof.
My
Yeah.
wife really enjoys that show, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's well written.
Yeah, it's weirdly addicting.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
a good show. It's not something I would normally ever watch. My roommate coerced me into watching a couple episodes, and now I'm like
And it's
the
not
next
just because
season,
everybody's so
I'm binge-
beautiful. It's actually
Everybody-
good.
It's good. It is well written.
Yeah, it's
It
well
really
written,
is.
well acted, and yeah, it was a real fun job to be able to play this character Pearl. Thank you.
So you played the character Pearl in the Vampire Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything different or unique about playing a vampire than any of your other roles?
You know, I got to do for the first time like special effects prosthetic makeup. I don't think I've ever done that before, and it was so thrilling. I actually took a picture of myself as the vampire, like with all the like scary makeup, and I sent it to my agent and told him it was my new headshot. But yeah, that was the most fun. That was also the only time that I ever had to wear a corset. You know, I had to wear it was like shot in like the 1800s,
so
and I
it's
had to wear
Victorian, so you had
the
to do
Victorian,
that, yeah.
and it was the most like I've done some really uncomfortable things in my life. That was the most painful costume
Of
I've
course.
ever had to wear
Wow.
in my entire life. It was absolute torture. I don't know how these women survived during that period.
Most of them didn't.
Most women did. Yeah, that's why they were like fainting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much.
This time I'm Paul, not Tigger.
Oh, now you're Paul. Okay, we got that straight.
Yeah, on the issue of the autographs, excluding all the fans who ask you to sign their arms who later get it tattooed on them. The most memorable things you've been asked to sign, either through the mail or in person nowadays, like big, bulky, collectible stuff, or stuff that was signed by your co-stars that were really hard to get, or anything really rare you ever wanted to buy off them? Has anyone ever gotten something rare like your high school yearbook?
Oh, that would be weird.
That'd be
If somebody
very
bought
weird.
my high
Really
school
weird.
yearbook. You know what? It's on sale. Somebody's trying to sell it on eBay.
Really?
Isn't that weird? Like as Kelly Who's like, but it's all like signed to them and stuff.
Right.
I think she's on drugs.
Yeah.
But I was on a really cool show called Warehouse 13. We got any
Oh
Warehouse?
my gosh.
Right? And they have all of the coolest like props and memorabilia.
Yes.
There's a company called QXM, Quantum Mechanics. QMX, sorry, you're right. QMX, Quantum Mechanics, there. And so they make all of these cool like props and memorabilia from the show. And so I've got to sign some of those things. Those, what do you call those things? Those transporter type things? The artifacts, the Farnsworths. I've signed, in fact, I have one. They gave one to me. And then one of those like, the gun thingies. What? Teslas, exactly. See, you guys are fans. I was on the show and I can't even remember.
I forgot all about Warehouse 13, and I love that show.
Wasn't
It's
that
so
such
fun.
a great show?
It's so
Jack
fun.
Kenny,
Yeah.
who is the producer of that show, is
was
one of the most
the best.
beautiful people that has ever walked the face of the earth. When he brought me onto that show, he was taking me around set and introducing me to everybody. I'd worked with him a couple of times on different series before. And he talked about how much he loved the people that he worked with, and he loved them so much he actually started to cry. Like, that's how amazing this guy is. Such a big heart. And it was such a great show to work on because, he sort of set the tone for the entire show. And everybody on that show was so close and so nice and such great people to work with. And by the way, Eddie is an absolute nutcase. Just so y'all know. For reals, nutcase. Okay. Thanks, Paul. So wait, is that from the show as well?
This is from Firefly.
From Firefly.
It's a QMX replica, though.
Oh, it is. Okay, I did the video game.
I know.
Yeah. In case you didn't,
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm actually a member of a group, and the guys from QMX, Andy.
Oh,
Andy
right.
Taylor, they're part of it and everything.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be playing poker with them at some point.
Oh, really? I actually went drinking with guys from Sparkplug at DragonCon.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Dragon Con's awesome too.
Oh, yeah, it was so much fun. Actually, my question was about Warehouse 13.
Okay, good.
So, you came in to Warehouse 13 at like a very
Towards the end, yeah.
Well, a very rough time too, considering that Lena had just been killed.
I know.
Yeah.
I kind of. Oh, you guys haven't seen it? Never mind.
Well, what was it like being coming in at that time? Like, was there any were you familiar with the show at that? Were you at all familiar with the show? Like, did you know what was happening?
I when they called me to work on the show, I watched all the back episodes. I totally had to binge watch, and I love that part of my work. It's like,
all the research
right?
there,
Exactly.
yeah.
I'm like, it's research. But I binge watched, and I have to say, I cried when she died too. Spoiler alert. But anyway, it was a little awkward because I know she was so loved as an actor on that show, and coming in to sort of try to replace her. It's like I just couldn't be her. So I just had to sort of be myself on the show, and everybody was still so cool and so amazing. It was such a delight.
Eddie is a nutcase.
He is.
I met him at DragonCon.
Yeah, so fun.
There's videos on YouTube somewhere. He ended up giving me a lap dance. It was weird.
I am not surprised. Hello.
This is awkward because the previous person just asked my question. So
About Warehouse 13?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you want to make up another question right off the top of your head?
No, I can't really. I put a lot of thought into that question.
Ouch.
Oh, he stole your thunder.
Bye.
Damn.
Bye.
Okay. Thanks. We got anybody else? Are you Tigger now? You're Tigger now because the head is up. Okay, Paul. Wait, Paul, where did I see you? Was it in St. Louis?
No, you was in Conjure, Orlando.
Orlando. Oh, that's why. Okay, so Miami, Orlando, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I once asked this actor, Joe Turkel, who played Lloyd the bartender in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. He said that when he got cast, Kubrick set him up with a real bartender who showed him how to properly pour and serve drinks. Did you ever have to shadow a real-life person who had a real
Yeah.
down-to-earth occupation for any roles?
You know, I've played a lot of cops before, and when I was on Nash Bridges, that was my first role as a cop. And they actually had me shadow cops in San Francisco. The chief of police in San Francisco was a huge fan of the show because we would shoot there,
Right.
and we were playing, San Francisco cops, and so I got to go in and meet all of these people all over the department. I had a terrible cold that day, and I think I passed my cold on to the entire police department. It was terrible, but I did get to do ride-alongs and stuff like that.
awesome.
It
That's really
was
cool.
awesome,
Yeah.
and they even put me in the narcotics department.
Oh, nice.
And I went on drug busts.
What?
Yeah, dude. They had me dress up in a hoodie and go on drug busts, and I was right on the streets with them. When they would there was
you
a
were,
guy who was a
undercover?
hook. Yes, they had me undercover with them. It was so scary, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Wow,
awesome. I
that's
loved
really
it.
cool. That's really, really
Yeah. That was one of the coolest things about my career is that I got to do these things.
San Francisco as well is a very strange city, so I'm sure.
Yeah, it
saw
was
some things.
such an interesting educational experience for me, and it gave me such a respect for cops. I know that cops are getting a really bad rap these days, but it's a freaking hard job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Did you
Anyway, thanks, Paul.
Did you get to fire any guns in the shooting range for?
Oh yeah. That was part of it too. They took me shooting and everything. And also being that I've done all these military tours and stuff. I've gotten to shoot so many different kinds of weapons. I even got to shoot those machine guns on top of the tanks. That was amazing. And I even have a letter opener that's made out of one of the casings that I shot off.
Cool.
Yeah, it was huge. It was I don't know, this
50
big.
caliber, those big
Yeah, those
ones?
gigantic
Yeah,
ones.
crazy.
It was awesome.
How's your marksmanship?
Well, let's just say I'm not going to be winning any awards for that.
You're not gonna-
Yeah, I don't have to be accurate when I shoot on camera. So we're not going to bother
Right.
working on that.
You're not planning on hunting any animals like tigers, are you?
No tigers.
No.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Emma?
Okay, let's just talk about me.
All right, sounds good. Chrissy, you got a question to keep going?
I'm just so excited. I forgot all about Warehouse 13.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then
it
when
was
you
such
said
a great
it
show.
all came back to me because I binge watched that show so
Oh, you
hard.
did.
Yeah, I
You
spent
did.
2 days in bed just yes.
You watch everything all the way up until the end?
Everything.
Wasn't it so sad?
Yes.
Did you cry?
I did.
I know. Me too.
I definitely did.
Me
It was
too.
one of those things that after I finished the season and I watched all of just everything, I kept thinking about it and I was sad for 5 days after.
Oh, I know.
So it was no more
I always
episodes and I was like residual sadness.
Yeah, no, I always get what I call post-production blues after I
can only
finish
imagine.
shooting something, because you get. You spend so much time on set with these people, and especially when you're on location, you get really close to these people. You spend all this time on set. You get to know everybody. It's kind of like you're in battle with people. You have this bonding experience, just because of how hard it is to do the work. And then every time I finish production, I get really depressed afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes me a week to kind of shake it off.
All right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're consumed in this little private world with a family. And then
Exactly,
you're
you
thrown
develop a
back into
family.
the real world, and you're
exactly.
oh.
I remember when I first started the business, I would go on all these shoots, and then at the end, I would cry. I would say goodbye to everybody, and I would
party's
be
all over,
crying.
right? Yeah.
I'm over that now. I can control myself. But yeah, I was.
Silent brooding now.
I know exactly. I just go into a depression. Did you have a question?
You brought up the game, the Firefly game.
I did.
Can you tell us anything about your character that you played in the game?
I don't even remember her name. Was it it was this? All I remember was I kind of channeled this old dragon lady, right? This old Chinese dragon lady. Do you remember what the character was? She was like a
I know
smuggler or something, right?
Yeah, she's a.
Aren't they all smugglers?
Yeah.
Firefly. Nobody buys anything legal in that show.
Right.
No, I'm pretty sure she was a like a warlord or something of Persephone. She was like really.
Right. That's right.
Badass
That's
and
right.
normal.
That's right. It was. I have to say, I don't get to do a lot of charactery voices when I do voiceover. I usually I pitch myself up a little bit higher when I want to play a kid, and then I just go down into my deeper range when I want to be like an evil woman or something. But that one I got to do an actual character, and that was really fun for me. That and Cheshire were my two favorite characters to voice. Because I got to do like these fun stuff. I actually did an episode of Scooby-Doo once too, where I got to play two characters. I got to be this little Japanese schoolgirl, and then I also got to be like this evil dragon lady. Yeah, it was really fun. I love voiceover. Yeah, because you can do it in your underwear.
Voice acting I've figured is the most alluring, just because you can be whatever. There's no physical requirements.
Exactly. I can play all these characters that I would never be cast as a real person. Like I get to be, like little young Japanese schoolgirls, and I could be, I can be Dragon Lady now. I think now I qualify. But yeah, you get to play all kinds of characters that you wouldn't normally get cast as. It's the voiceover world is such an awesome world to be in, and it's also just full of super nice people.
Yeah.
Everybody who does voiceover is so nice and fun to work with, and like when you get to be in a booth with like a bunch of other actors, it's shocking that we ever get any work done because we're all like laughing and doing crazy voices while they're doing crazy voices. I'm laughing, and it's just the best time ever. The fact that we even get paid for what we do is shocking. Yeah.
All right, we have one final question.
Oh, that's it? Wow, so fast.
Hello. Okay.
Hi.
Wow, this is exciting.
Pressure.
I know. Okay, so
Okay.
I've been thinking about my question.
Okay.
As an actress, what would be like the best piece of advice that you would give to any aspiring actor? Do you have anything? That would
I
be
get asked that a lot.
Okay.
Are you an aspiring actor, actress? You don't know?
I'm confused. I don't know
If
what I
you
wanna
don't
do
know,
yet.
then maybe you shouldn't be, because it is hard.
I know.
It is hard. You have to want it so much that you cannot imagine yourself doing it, going through the rest of your life without doing it. That's how much you have to want it, because it's such a difficult job and there's so much rejection. You've got to. I remember telling my mom when I was in school, not in acting school, but when I was just a kid, I said, if I can't be an actress, I'd rather be dead. Woo. And that's pretty much how much you have to want it, because there are so many other people who are going to want it that much that if you only kind of want to do it, then you probably shouldn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
That's
sense.
my best advice to you.
I wouldn't want to get run over in the business.
I have a follow-up technical question. So for aspiring actors out there, when's the time to get an agent?
As soon as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even before you get a role, you should get an agent, or?
How are you going to get a role?
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's. I mean, I don't know. It's so different now than when I started in this business 30 years ago.
Right, 3 years ago.
I'm just going to throw it out there because Paul already did. Thanks, Paul. But yeah, no, I started in this business over 30 years ago, and I have to say it's a totally different business now than when I started. Obviously, there was no internet.
Right.
There were hardly any Asian actors and actresses out there. Certainly not a lot of Asian roles.
I think it's just you and James Hong running around at that time.
That's true. There was me and Tia Carrera.
Right.
And Tamlin Tomita from Karate Kid. So like if they were busy, that was it. I got the role. But yeah, it's a totally different world. So I don't even know how to go about getting an agent and doing all that these days, because there are things now that exist that never existed when I was a kid entering this business. I remember the first role I ever got cast on, though, was Growing Pains.
Right.
Who said that? Look at you. Wow, thank you. Yes, growing pains when they came to Hawaii. The Seavers come to Hawaii to like for a vacation,
Right.
and I get cast as Kirk Cameron's love interest. And so I was still living in Hawaii at the time, and that was sort of my entrance into the Screen Actors Guild. And so I moved to Los Angeles before the show even aired. Like, I already knew that I was moving to
was
LA.
it, yeah.
That happened to come up. I got that role. I
yeah,
was
you
in
got the
Screen
credit.
Actors
Now go
Guild.
for
I
it,
was like,
right.
I'm there. I was like, I moved to Los Angeles, and the day that the show aired, I took out a full-page ad in Variety announcing that I was now available for West Coast representation.
Wow.
And I guess because there were not a lot of Asian actresses, and it was such a ballsy thing to do, I got calls from 20 agents before the show even aired that night.
Nice.
So, I wouldn't recommend doing that today, because I think now I look back and I think that was stupid, but it worked because of the time, because of the
Right.
when it happened, but it was just sort of destiny. I think I was always destined to do what I'm doing today, and I couldn't wait to grow up and just get on with my life and have this awesome life experience.
It's got to be so interesting to see the evolution of the industry
It
for you
is.
from when you started until now. That's got to be like killer.
Right, because cable was hardly existent.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there were
No social
there were
media,
cable
no
shows,
Twitter.
but but look at now. You've got hundreds of channels. You've got all this social media. You've got all this internet stuff going on. So people now, and also all these cameras that are awesome that people can shoot their own movies. Like, it doesn't cost anything now, and so you can buy like cheap little cameras. You can shoot your own movies. You can edit them. You can put your own music. You can do everything yourself and make your own movies for people to watch. So it's such a great day and age now for anybody who's creative and has this need to want to get out there, because you have the possibility of doing it at such a low cost at like almost nothing.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool.
So go out there, make your own movies, and then cast me.
Kelly here, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming out.